Once Human just got a preview for its August update. We have several details to cover with that overall. Additionally, we'll go over some insanely useful tips, including a brand new interactive map. We'll also cover some additional tips and tricks to help your playthrough, as well as some brand new information around the server limit, and a whole bunch more. What's up, World of Utopia, back in the video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Okay, so first up, let's get into the details with the August update and the preview stuff that we're seeing with that. So first up here, this has been a major request, and several of these have been a major request, but we do have some really good news with the August update. Once Human will now support controller play in August. I know this has been a massive requested feature in my comments. A lot of people have been asking for controller support, so we will be getting that with the big August update. There are other means to currently use the controller on this, but this will be natively supported within the game itself, so that should definitely help bring more attention and more people into the game itself. We also have some additional good news here. Once Human will also start to support DirectX 12 in August, so this will come with some greatly enhanced graphics and performance. If you haven't noticed, using DX12 versus DX11, it does greatly enhance both of those things. You can compare this on several games like Fortnite as well as a few others. If you do have a newer graphics card and a newer PC system, this will be great for you. It also should help with the stutter problems that people have had, as DX12 does handle shaders as well as a few other things a lot better. It does take those in smaller chunks overall, and so it shouldn't be as big on the cache size, at least with shader count. So people with much faster SSDs, this will definitely help as well. DX12 has become incredibly stable over the last few years. It used to have worse 1% lows, but it definitely had way higher frame rate for me in Fortnite. But now it seems like DX12 does outperform it in every category, so I'm really happy to hear that they get DX12 here. And again, that should help a lot of the performance issues as well as some of the stuttering, and it should even make the game look better. So a massive W there, and that's going to help the game overall. Additionally with that, we did have some brand new server information and what's going on with the situation there. So first up, we did actually have some news this morning, what's going on with some of the servers. So we had this post here over on the Discord in the game news section, where they said they are aware of the unusual high latency issue right now, and they want to assure you that their development team is actively addressing this matter. They understand the frustration there, they kindly want your patience to resolve that. Obviously, they said your gaming experience is important to them, and I'm sure that they're going to provide compensation with this. I have noticed with some of the PvP missions or the PvP events, there is insanely high latency with that, so I hope they do get that sorted out eventually and at least fixed. Although I'm sure they didn't expect the game to be this popular, it is really doing well on the Steam charts, so I'm sure that's going to sort out eventually when they do get more servers, as well as some more funding there. I know they were saying they were looking for more funding overall, so hopefully the server stuff and with everything and the game purchases and all that stuff there will help, as it is one of the top sellers on Steam currently with some of the in-game cosmetics. So hopefully they're getting the support they needed for this game. It definitely needs it, and I'm glad that they're getting that. We also had some questions about the server limit capacity. Currently people want the servers opened up because it seems like a lot of people have alts on servers, which is using up the player count, or at least in those servers, especially because of the EL vendor cap limit. Some people have different bases to farm passive stuff, but they did mention here that they are working on increasing the server limit, so that should help new players on getting to better servers, as some servers will inevitably kind of fall off, especially with the alts taking over for a lot of these servers, at least some of them. So again, hopefully we do see that server cap limit increased, and I do think also with the seasons coming up and that reset, that's really going to help as well, as people will be forced to join a new server or the same server itself, but you're going to have to rejoin back up, so that refresh there should help things. We also do have one additional thing with that as well. This person here was asking if the servers can be migrated or if they're going to expand the slots, or what I think they're getting at is a merge of servers, kind of like what New World does. They did say here that developers will take care about that, so I'm sure they will merge servers eventually if they have to, if they see lower player count there or lower login activity. I'm assuming they're trying to see how things play out in these first coming weeks, but with each season they're going to get better and better about this, at least seemingly so. They definitely have taken care of a lot of things, and they've done really good about certain stuff. The devs have been really responsive about this, so I do think that they're going to take this with care, and they are going to be really responsive with it. Also, speaking of the Steam sales and everything that related to that, we did have this here where the game now finally hit mostly positive on Steam. That was after that big TOS debacle, where people were worried because in a portion of the TOS it said something about government ID being required. However, this is essentially in every game's TOS. The reason being is actually South Korea and several other countries do require you to use your government ID to play online. Even to use the internet, you are required to use either your social security number in that case or a government ID. So this only applied to those regions. This didn't apply to most regions like NA. So that whole thing there with the review bombing and stuff like that was only happening because of that TOS thing that people thought they saw. And because there was stuff with NetEase with this, at least them being one of the backers of this game. People thought there was some stuff there, but that again was just false. So it's good to see that the game is now mostly positive on Steam. Moving on, we did have this question here asked over on the Reddit. Essentially, someone was curious if there's any value to 100% towns, even the lower ones. As a commenter pointed out here, basically TLDR, yes it is. And the reason being is because those have unique mythic chests, which you do get blueprints from. And you don't always want to use your blueprints. In fact, I made this mistake early on. You want to save a lot of your blueprint fragments as you can use those to then upgrade other blueprints. And you're going to want to do that for the gear that you're actually going to use. You make your gear stronger by essentially upgrading your gear blueprint. This will actually reset your calibration, so make sure you're not wasting too many resources on calibrating your stuff, as you will eventually need to remake that gear, and it's going to start at 0 calibration. So if you are calibrating stuff all the way to plus 10, just know more than likely you did waste a little bit of the Stardust resource. Although when you do disenchant it, you will actually get some of the Stardust back. You won't get all of it, especially if it's in the higher calibrations, but just know there is a little bit of wasted resource there. So do be careful on what you're upgrading until you do get the blueprints to upgrade it fully. But yes, again, it is worth to farm those lower level tiers or lower level towns. We also have this guide here to passive acid farming. There's been a lot of stuff with the acid pumps, the water pumps, all that stuff there being a little bit kind of weary. People haven't known how to do this. There's been a lot of stuff on YouTube. Some stuff's outdated from beta, but there is a full little infograph guide here that definitely will help you. Will essentially be a complete guide on how to passively acid farm. There are some decent guides over on YouTube now, but still some of the information isn't always there. This is a full put together guide that you can use as an infograph and a sheet to go back on. That way you're not needing to scroll through a video constantly. You can just refer to this infograph overall. Again, I will leave a link to it down below in the description if you want to check that out. Some last minute mentionables here. I know I talked about that new map. This isn't insanely new. This has been kind of being put together. However, a lot of this information is brand new on it, and it finally is kind of pieced with everything. So we do have this big interactive map here that's insanely useful. Again, the ones that you Google, you're probably not going to find this one, as this one was done by a Chinese website, or at least it is on a Chinese website. So you're probably not going to find it if you're in NA looking for interactive maps. More than likely, you're not going to be pointed to this one. I will include a link to it down below in the description. This has everything from mystery chests to ore farms. Basically, anything you need to look up on here, all this stuff is on this map. Even imagery for all the different things. Again, it is very useful, so I will include a link to it. We do have one last minute mentionable here. This post here is saying that deviants need to be carried over. Some people are a little upset with the reset or the 6-week reset. However, most of your stuff is carried over, like blueprints and Starchrome. It seems like deviants might not be able to be carried over, but there might be a case there, as there is something with internal land. We'll have to see about that. Hopefully they do add an ability at least to bring some of them over, especially the RNG ones are going to be really hard to refarm, as some people have been farming for Mr. Wish over 50 times and still not gotten them to spawn. So hopefully they do allow you to bring some of them over, and also potentially look into allowing us to actually level them up as opposed to getting an RNG level when you do loot them. But yeah, I do hope they kind of look in some of the quality of life features for the deviants. Overall though, it should about cover for today's video. If you like and subscribe, and until the next one. Deuces.